All right, now we're moving off to toms. Some guys like to call the toms by their names, high tom, mid tom, low tom. I like to keep things simple, call them by numbers, that way drummer knows 1, 2, and 3. Tom 1, tom 2, tom 3. We're going to do the same thing that we've done with all the kits and all the shells so far. We're going to have the drummer hit the shell, you're going to figure out what the tom is talking from, and then you're going to place the microphone in the area. And based on where the tom is talking from, then you'll angle your microphone in and try to achieve the best location and have the better sound coming off the tom. So Jonathan, hit it. Okay. Actually, this tom is talking just slightly off angle, talking like from this angle here. So, like the snare, with the toms, if you want a really ambient live tom sound, you might want to point your microphone right into the center of the tom. That would give you a nice ambient tom sound, but it also opens up the door for a lot of phasing. If if the drummer's hitting all the other pieces really hard, you might be picking up a lot of the cymbals, hi-hats, or snares through this microphone. For my particular choice, I like to use microphones that I can clip on to the shells because it avoids the hassle of having a different microphone stand sitting in front of me and getting in the way. I opt out for the Audix microphones. They usually work out really well for me. I usually end up using the D2s and the D4s on toms. They're really nice and tight. They got a nice bottom end. They're really warm. And what I'll end up doing, since I'm a close miking guy, I like to place the microphone pretty much facing 80 degrees down, pretty much pointing at the logo here. In this case, since the tom is in this area and you can't turn the tom, you're going to have to adjust your miking. So therefore, you're going to have to put the microphone in this area because that's where it's talking from. I will angle it down about 80 degrees and you will get a nice, tight tom sound. And also, you're going to be rejecting, since the microphone's going to be looking directly at the skin here and at the tom. You're going to be picking up a lot of the tom, and you're going to be rejecting a lot of the stuff here. What that allows you to do is when you start mixing, or your mix engineer is going to start mixing the project for you, it's going to have minimal bleed from all these drums here, and he's going to be able to pan the toms either left, right, or any direction he wants to go without having a lot of phasing problems or phasing issues. Drum tuning, 50% of the battle. If you don't have tuned drums that don't sound right, if the drums are not sounding right and they're not tuned properly, I don't care if you're using a $30,000 microphone. It's not going to sound right, and you're going to be chasing your tail all day long. So make sure the tuning is right, placements are right, and the micing's right. And we're going to be showing you how to mic it with a 57, and then we're going to show you how to mic it with a big, expensive $2,000 to $3,000 Neumann. Either way, if the tuning's not right, you're not going to get the sound out of the drum. So be very careful, be aware of that, and refer to some of the other videos on how audio and drum tuning and so on for any reference on how to do that. After we finish miking this tom, we're going to go ahead and move on to tom number 2 and tom number 3, and we're going to go through the same process. Make sure it's tuned, and then after that, make sure that the shell's talking from the right direction and putting the microphone on there. So now we're going to move over to tom number 2.